What up, everybody? Good morning, good morning. Sherbert, Mark, Noeem, Crazy Eddie, Will, Christy, Nico, Dark, Vigo, Paper Trading, Harris, Wolf, TC, what's up, Tom, Bree, what's up, everybody? I'm not going to go through the whole list today, but if you're here, I appreciate you. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. If you like the video, I'd appreciate it. Thank you, Crazy Eddie, for constantly reminding everybody. It means a lot. I will get the video started when we reach 100 likes. So, if you guys know, we are on NFP week, which today is Thursday, tomorrow is Friday, which is NFP. The rule set given to us by ICT and what I've observed is we do not trade Thursday and Friday of NFP week. And that's the reason why usually Monday through Wednesday you're trying to get that large portion of the move, large portion of the trading week done, and that way Thursday and Friday you can simply tape read it, sit out, watch it, And I honestly want to do a few things today. I don't know exactly what I want to do, but I would like to do some like executions to showcase like some of the conditions. It's just going to be difficult because some people are going to legitimately take the idea to take a signal, which it's going to be difficult to do that, unfortunately. So I may just put like a risk reward tool on there, because really what tape reading is, right, is you're practicing whether or not the conditions are right on this particular Saturday. Tape reading in general, you're just seeing how price moves and you're seeing if it's going from point A to point D, if your analysis is correct or not. But overall today, I would like to just try to annotate why the conditions, why we sit out of it. And sometimes the conditions are really good. And this is where discipline is just a bitch sometimes. And it doesn't mean that the rule sets are wrong, that ICT is stupid or you're stupid. Sometimes, we may not trade NFP. We may not trade Thursday of the NFP week and price moves really cleanly and you weren't participant of it. Then some weeks it isn't. So you just have to be able to draw the line of sand somewhere and say, you know what, I'm just not going to trade these days. You can't just be picking and choosing, the Thursday and Friday of NFP week when it's the cleanest and you're going to trade that. I mean, that goes for all rules. Like, people want to be able to just pick and choose when they can trade a certain set of rules and when they can't. It's unrealistic. Sometimes you're going to have a rule set that prevents you from trading that particular day, session, whatever it is, and you simply miss the move. I mean, you can't pick and choose when these things are going to work. So I always say it, discipline is a bitch. And you just have to suffer with that. It is what it is. I'm particularly done for the week. I took one trade and I made my money for the week. Most of you should be in that mindset, especially on a week like this week. So that's really where I'm at right now. I feel like I can't hear myself. I think it's my microphone. I will switch it over to the charts. So let me know if you can see the charts and I will get everything started. I'm going to play some music on my own. But you know what? I don't even have my other platform open today, which is good because I can do another trading view chart. Load this puppy up. Do I always get on at 9:30? Yeah. We want music. I think the vast majority of people don't want it. Just play it on your own. I mean, I'll put in the chat what I'm listening to, and you can just put it in your own headphones. I already know I'm going to get complaints and people bitching today already about not taking a trade, but it is what it is. All right. Let's look at the daily time frame, weekly time frame here. PUMX, fantastic here. Yeah, you don't need to be doing a lot. So let's look at the weekly time frame in here. The weekly bullish order block here. This is the framework. If you're going into any session, you need to be looking at the weekly time frame every day, every single day, not just once a week, every single day. Look at the weekly time frame. What is it doing? Where is it reaching for? What is it reacting off of? What does it look like? These type of things are important to annotate, figure out what it's doing, so you can come into the session with a bias. This is called narrative. This is called looking at higher time frames, looking at where price is trying to draw to. Otherwise, I'm just going into a 1 minute time frame and driving into a brick wall, right? So if I know that the weekly time frame has dropped down into the weekly bullish order block, the mean threshold of it, which is 50% of it. Order blocks, breakers, mitigation blocks are mean thresholds. That's 50%. If it's dipped down into that and it's expanded away from it, I'm rolling into a Thursday and a Friday. What I would anticipate from here is probably price to expand higher. Why? Because overall, if you're looking at order flow and what it's been doing the last multiple months, we're bullish. You go down to a daily time frame. You refine that bullish order block into any PD array that would be on the daily. Let's look at the daily structure. We talked about this last night in the daily log if you watched it. What's basic market structure? Higher highs, higher lows. So if you're looking at simple market structure, this is basic market structure here. What do? We reach down into a discount from this low up to that high there. Price reached down into a reclaimed inefficiency inside of a discount. Okay, so if I know the weekly time frame is bullish, we came off of a weekly bullish order block. The daily time frame is reached down into a reclaimed inefficiency inside of a discount, and we're in a bullish market structure. What is the narrative? What should you be looking for today? Well, I would probably be anticipating higher prices unless something proved me wrong. So for those trying to learn narrative, trying to understand what narrative is, that's as simply as I could put it. There's other things that are included, but simply looking at the weekly, the daily, that's as easy you can make it. And what you do is you go on lower time frames and say, all right, well, anything that is not long, I'm not participating in. I don't really care. Yes, the Fed speaks at 30 minutes from now. Regardless, I'm not doing anything today. I'm just going to be tape reading. I'm done for the week. I don't care what anybody else really says. I don't care what the chat says. You're not going to influence me to take a trade. So I got what I needed out of this week. The rule sets for this week is to trade Monday through Wednesday and sit out Thursday and Friday. If I wasn't live streaming, I would be in my bed asleep. To be honest with you, it's what I want to be doing right now. But so if we're going higher, we should be seeking that buy side liquidity pool. But we're going to mark out any inefficiencies, whether it's bullish or bearish. We have in here, this is a balanced price range. One pass higher, one pass lower. If you want to make it easy, look at the fair value gap in here. So just because this is here does not mean that you should be selling it. It just means that this could give a short-term relief for price to retrace on lower time frames into a discount before going higher again, if in fact price is truly bullish. Okay, you go into a 4-hour chart. What did price do yesterday? It's pretty sloppy overall, to be honest with you. But what is this down close candle here? This down close candle is your bullish order block. You look from body to body, equilibrium sitting right about here, mean threshold. So price has since then expanded away. We're driving up higher. You look at the 1-hour time frame, which I had these annotated yesterday. We just tagged them today. So we created a little bit more liquidity yesterday, dropped off lower, returned back into a discount one more time, and then since then, even overnight, London session, and moving into the open here, we've expanded higher to attack the buy side there. And if you feel some type of way about sitting out today, I mean, I don't really know why. If you've been following me this week, I mean, you should be fine. But if you look at this, from this dealing range low up to that high, we've dropped down into a discount, optimal trade entry here. Expanded away from it. So knowing all the things I just talked about in the higher time frames, your buy should be bullish. You should be looking for higher prices. Anything that counters that, I don't know why you'd be trading it. So anything on the left side of the chart, people are going to probably ask is, well, what do you think about this? Is it going to sell off of this? No. If the narrative is bullish, these parent time frames, everything else is going to submit to it. So everything on the left side of the curve, either A, it's going to get ran over, or B, it's going to give a short-term relief for a retracement. That's all it's going to do. So this SIBI here, I'm not going to be selling off of that. It's just something I'm looking at for price to draw up into. If it wants to give a short-term relief to go lower for a retracement to then go higher. That's all it is. So my bias today, if I had a gun in my head, I had to trade today, which I'm not. But if I had to absolutely trade today, I'd be looking for higher prices. I'd be looking for buy-side liquidity above us to be reached into, inefficiencies above us to be reached into. And I wouldn't do anything else. So relative equal highs resting here, premium SIBI resting there. So right now on an hourly time frame, that's basically your two objectives. There's nothing else. We've reached above the buy side here. Is there anything in this run up here? No. I'm not going to extend out these. It's too old to me. I'm not going to extend that out. I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at the highs here, and if we get above those, then obviously we're going to want to tag the buy side there, but it's too much. Go down to lower time frames, you start looking at certain factors and certain things. Again, you just refine everything I just did. On a 15-minute time frame, you see the SIBI here, and you extend it out to your right. So then I'd be looking at, all right, well, can price drop into it? Not looking for it to sell off of it, just using it as a draw on liquidity. So those three would be my objectives for today. If price actually wants to move in a pretty volatile manner, I would assume it would reach up into that. And guess what's right in that same area is the current new week opening gap resting here. So that's a beautiful draw on liquidity overall. All three of these are probably, I don't know about going to get reached into, at least the premium SIBI will. So does that make sense? All right, and none of those statements answered. Okay. Another confluence with all of this would be dollar index, right? If dollar index is moving lower, then we need to be looking at index futures to be moving higher. So where does dollar index want to gravitate towards? Like just looking at a daily time frame, we're going to want to gravitate towards these relative equal lows there. So we talked about this yesterday, part of the trade idea. When dollar index is dropping off lower, it's a confluence for index futures to be moving higher. It gives you a really good confluence, and it also helps you when you're trying to decipher a trade idea on index futures, and then you look at dollar index. It's like, all right, if it's in confluence with it, it's easy to take it. If it start countering your idea, then maybe you're probably wrong. I love using dollar index. It's just something I haven't been able to utilize this year that much. But when it starts moving in a really good fashion, man, it's such a fun tool to use. I hate using the word cheat code, but it is. It's very, very fun to utilize, especially on index futures. It's super easy. If you're just getting in here, I appreciate it if you like the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you lose 1%, you cut the risk. Yep. How old is too old? That's a good question. It just depends. I mean, it depends. I know that's not the answer you want. It really just does depend. But I don't deem these useful currently. I mean, I'm not going to extend those out to my right. It's just not something that I'm really looking at. I want to use something that's fresh on this left side. And there really isn't, besides that. How do you find your bias on higher time frame as SMT you trade with overall order flow? I mean, SMT is just, there's always SMT on both sides of the curve. There always is. Like, this is what people don't understand. It's like there's never not just one SMT. There's SMT on both sides. But that's why SMT is not an end-all be-all. You look at SMT and you look at your bias. You look at your overall narrative, the things I just did in the beginning of this video. You look at that and you say, all right, well, does SMT confirm that? What does the other indexes look like? And then you compare dollar index to it. Is that also in confluence with it? SMT is just a tool to confirm things. It's not an end-all be-all. It's not something that if I see SMT, I'm entering into a trade. I need more information. Dean, thank you. I appreciate it. 3-day look back. No, I don't use it. Yeah, mods, I would say the same. As far as 3-day look back, I mean, 20, 40, 60, you guys have seen me do it. I mean, to me, it's just, it's not that it's not useful. It's just I can already see these things before. Like if I didn't even know what that was. Like even with these concepts, 3-day look back. You're looking at the previous 3 days, session highs and lows. But that's already what I'm doing, regardless if I was using the concept or not. So the statement I'm trying to make is you don't need everything in ICT. You don't need everything that he does teach you. You can't just throw it all together in one big pot. That doesn't work. You have to pick and choose what really works for you and what stands out, and really maximize it. You guys see me. I mean, I don't use everything. I know. I would like to say I know 99% of everything ICT is taught. There's not one thing I probably don't know that he has taught. Before we get into silver bullet, can you talk about why you took your partials where you took them yesterday? Yeah, some of them were a little bit different on my live account. You have to remember when I'm doing the paper trading stuff, like I'm not particularly caring too much about it. Like I know it's not the best for audience, but I mean, as far as partials yesterday, I was taking it at opposing liquidity pools or opposing PD arrays. As far as I remember the paper trading, I was taking one off above the high here on paper trading. Again, anytime you get above buy side, you're taking off a partial. You're protecting yourself. You're paying yourself. What's the next premium opposing PD array? Well, that was here. So I took off my partials in here. For the vast majority of it, it was really in here. I wanted to see if I could leave one runner on overall for the buy side that was resting up here. But obviously I got tagged at in profit. I mean, there's nothing. It's not like I hit anything. It's just every opposing PD array or every opposing liquidity pool, I'm taking partials off. You know, with partials and with just trading in general, your style. I mean, you can watch what I do, and you may not like it. You may like it. You may be somebody that wants to just go for full blown targets, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's just not the way I trade. We've talked about yesterday many times. Partials pay 110% of the time. They never not pay you. So, and the issue that people have with partials is like, let's say they take a loss on a full 20 handles on 5 contracts, and then they go into a trade and they take off a few partials throughout the way, and it's like maybe just kind of break even that loss. The issue is your win rate sucks. Truthfully, I mean, that's the issue with partials. But I think all of you can reach a point where you can have a decently high win rate. It's really just canceling out all the stupid losses. Which again, look at Monday, Tuesday. People were trading inside of that mess. Last week, Monday, Tuesday, trading inside of that. There's no reason. Lud, Mental Game of Trading by Jared Tindler. PMX, yeah, go touch some grass, dude. Like, if you don't have the discipline to sit here, then just leave. Do you know when you will start your paid? I don't know. Yeah, if you look, like I don't even have my trading platform open. Like I'm not going to be taking a trade. That's part of the rule set. Again, if I wasn't live streaming, I wouldn't be here. But I do want to showcase today why we don't trade it. I hope that it gives the conditions of why we don't trade it. I mean, already this is pretty wicked. Like I'm not expecting myself to be right by any means. Like as far as predictions, as far as what I'm analyzing, I'm probably going to be totally wrong. And that's the reason why we sit out of these conditions is so overall we understand that, okay, well, because if you just sit out of these conditions and you look at it in hindsight, you may be like, man, I should have been trading that. But in real time, if you're able to sit here and tape read and not take a trade, then you could see, okay, well, yeah, my predictions are pretty wrong most of the time on it. The day before NFP and NFP itself. Cosmic Girl, good morning. JP Trading, how long did you spend trading a demo after finishing 2022? Again, I have a different journey. I mean, I started trading Ict-Concepts in 2019. So, and by then I was already a year into trading. So I was already on a live account trading other things. My journey's a lot different. I can't really give advice on that. Random Nerd, lots of love for Pakistan. Thank you. RTH gap, yeah, I'll go over it. I mean, this structure here, like if we drop lower, it's, again, this is just weird price action. This is what you're getting the day before NFP. So I'm not surprised, and you shouldn't be inside of here trying to judge yourself on whether or not, you know, you can trade this and whether or not you're a good analyst. Mr. Wins too not much? No, I mean, that's, again, I'm not trying, like, I said, I'm the most authentic probably person on this platform, man. I don't do that for views. I don't care about doing that. Like, what's the point? I'm influencing my audience to gamble and do stupid stuff. It's like, what? If I cared about views that much and I cared about influencing an audience to do stupid shit, then yeah, sure. But I'm not like that. There's no point. Were you profitable before? No. That's the reason why I switched to Ict-Concepts. WMG, what's up, brother? Because you can do either. This is a liquidity void. This is currently where there's two parts of an RTH gap in my eyes. What you're viewing is this is the actual liquidity void from the open, right? From that wick, from that low to that high, that's the liquidity void. And then you have the entire RTH gap, which is from the open to the close of yesterday. So I can mark out either of them. Sometimes I do one or the other. It just depends. Because in all reality, what is price trying to fill in? It's trying to fill in that liquidity void, right? And then as soon as that low's set, okay, then that would move down to here. That's the last portion of it that's open. In its entirety, it does look like this, yes. WMG, I saw your message. I don't know what's up in my Nightbot. Yeah, I mean, I started trading in 2018. I've been trading for 6 years, man. It's been a long, long fucking journey. That's awesome, man. Yeah, people have been trading for a long time. They understand the certain ups and downs of this journey and the struggles, especially if you traded different concepts before ICT. I mean, I'm very grateful for him. He saved my life. So, but just look at this profile in here. You're taking out buy side, you're dropping lower, taking out sell side. I start every day about 10 to 15 minutes before the open. Sometimes I'm a little late, but today, I mean, I was 10 minutes before the open. Put your notifications on. Yeah. Have you had one-on-one lessons? No. He's using too many emojis. I didn't even know what Nightbot does that. Franta, I'm not going to answer that question. That's completely on you. I'm not going to tell you how to trade your own PA account. If any of you ask me those questions, I'm never going to answer it. I hope you know that. Like, because that's on you. That's your decision to make. All I'm telling you is, I'm just teaching you certain concepts and how to trade them. I'm not telling you how to manage certain accounts. I'm sure there's some people that are coming into here and they're thinking that I'm going to take a trade today, or they're looking for it, which I'm not, so. You keep me from doing dumb shit. That's what I love to hear. If you're able to keep yourself from doing dumb shit, you'll end up being profitable. But man, the biggest obstacle, the biggest person you're fighting is yourself. Most of you right now, currently, cannot win yourself over, which I get. I couldn't do it either for many years. Like, it's never the concepts, it's never anything technically, it's always yourself. Obviously, you have to progress within your technicals, but Ravi, I mean, yeah, but the profile for this week is I'm not trading Thursday and Friday. I'm already done for the week. I've done what I needed. So, Thursday and Friday of NFP week, we don't trade. Unmar, yeah, I've done a lot of the work. I'd say 90%. I've done all the mental hand history worksheets. I've done all the maps. I've done all the injecting logic for all my emotions. I've done a lot of work. I did 40 pages of notes on a Google Doc over that book. I mean, I went extremely hard on that book. I mean, it took me like probably 2 years to do all of that. That book was a lot, but it's worth it. You sit here and everybody praises my discipline. I mean, yeah, because I worked my ass off on it. What's one thing you wish you added to ICT beginner's course to make it better? I mean, nothing. That's the reason why. I mean, there's a lot more to the beginners. Like, there's a lot more to ICT's concepts than that. I mean, the beginner's course is just to get somebody off on the right foot and get them accustomed to the concepts. But I wouldn't have added anything else. Daniel, yeah, exactly. I mean, isn't it nice? Like, if your boss told you, hey, you got a 4-day weekend, you could just take the Thursday and Friday off and go chill, and you get paid for it too. You'd be like, well, yeah, why would I not do that? Most of you, you think after yesterday you won, and it's like, well, let me go back in here Thursday and Friday and win again. It's like, well, you'll probably end up giving all that money back and lose, and then you're pissed off at yourself that you shouldn't have traded, you shouldn't have done anything, and you should have just ended the week on a win. Most of you would be a lot more successful if you could get in one time, you win, and you're done for the week. But CJ, there's more days. If you won on a Monday, that's it. You're done for the week. Sit your ass down and do not trade the rest of the week. But I could make more money the rest of the week. No, you can't. You're not as good as you think you are. Sit your ass down and trade 1 day a week. If you're profitable, stay out of it. Do that 4 times in a month. You'll probably outpace everybody else in the industry. Like, it's not that difficult. Most of you want to trade in here every single day, take 10 trades in a session. Well, I don't think that's going to be very profitable long run. Well, Tom, that's why you do not have trading as a source of income. You do not do that. It's the number one thing you do not do. You do not rely on trading for a source of income until. That's why you need to have some type of job, some type of income coming in to where this has no burden on you, where the trading, the loss or the win has no burden. Even if you want to go full time, you need to have enough income to where you can live off of that income for at least 2 years, to where none of the decisions in trading impact you. Especially being a newer student, you have no means of doing that. Akbar, yeah. So I set a goal for my. I had another comment. Hi CJ, what's your morning routine before the charts? Sometimes it depends, but usually I'm stretching. I do have a exercise bike I'll get on and I'll do some reading. Sometimes meditation, sometimes Wim Hof breathing. I'm reading over certain injecting logic statements, which are from the book Mental Game of Trading. I'm reading over some certain flaws, some certain mistakes that I do in trading, and I go over my trading plan for the day, for the week. And then I'll go into the charts and I'll kind of see what price is doing. If I was alone, I'm doing a journal what I'm thinking pre-market, even doing a short video of it. Like, I recommend putting a video on during your session and recording yourself. I quit my job to have more time to study. I mean, again, unless you have money in the bank, unless you have bankroll for months and not even months, years on end to help you pay for all your bills without ever needing to make money from trading, then that's fine. But if you quit your job and then you need money from trading, I mean, you're probably not going to be successful. The psychological pressures that weighs on you is unbearable, especially when you're in a losing streak, you're in a drawdown. I mean, what are you going to do? Everybody experiences drawdown and losing streaks. So what are you going to do during that period? You're going to start freaking out. I need money to pay, and you're going to end up spiraling. It's never a good option. You need to have a job. You need to work a job. You need to save enough money from whatever it is. How do you trade when you work 40 hours a week? I mean, that's just, you have to make time for it. So either you need to adjust your job to it, either you adjust your schedule, you talk to your boss, or you find a different job with the same pay. Obviously, I know that's not realistic for most people, but I mean, if you really want this and you can, go out there and find a different job that pays the same benefits, whatever it is, but it just has a different time schedule around it that where you're allowed to trade, I mean, that's ideal. Otherwise, you switch to a different style. You switch to a swing trader's approach where at least you're able to trade even with, you're at work. There's three silver bullets. I mean, there's one at session, one at AM session, and one at PM session. So you have to make time for one of those if you're an intraday trader. That's what you plan on doing. If not, I mean, you just have to make time to study, and I mean, you can make time if you really want this. I'm sure you can find a way around it. There's some way. Mr. Fox, yeah, I know. Somebody recommended that to me. I know to do it. I just don't have the habit of doing it yet. All right, let me focus on here. We're moving into the silver bullet. So what did we talk about in the beginning of the session? I mean, I was looking for higher prices. I'm not anticipating myself to be right. Don't take anything I'm saying today as something like a concrete evidence of what you should be doing. As we discussed many times before, that the day before NFP, Thursday, today, even yesterday, it can be a little bit iffy. The precision, look at yesterday's PM session. So that's why ICT advises us by the time AM session on Wednesday, you want to be done for the week. I mean, the PM session yesterday was nasty to me. I definitely wouldn't have been profitable in it. And I know these things. That's the reason why we sit out of it and we don't do it. So you want to be wrapped up for the week by on NFP week Wednesday AM session. And then we'll look at today, and hopefully, I honestly hope it's really shitty PA, because I want all of you to understand that you shouldn't be doing it. But there's times where it does move really cleanly, and then people get the idea that you should be trading it. And there's always exceptions to the rules. There's exceptions to all of your rules at certain times, but as we talked about in the beginning of the video, discipline is a bitch. You can't pick and choose when you follow rule sets and when they're going to work versus when they don't. I mean, it's impossible to do so. If I knew that, then yeah, like that's like saying I would never take a loss. I'd pick the best trades when they would win, and etc. So, but buy side liquidity here. What do? We drop down into the RTH gap about 50% or so. To me, this is a seek and destroy profile. Like, if I'm already looking at it, we've talked about this before on some days where if you're running out buy side, look at the open, you're running out buy side, and then you're dropping lower and you're taking out sell side. You're kind of cleaning both sides of the board. Not always does this, is it seek and destroy. You could just be heavily manipulated, where you're taking out buy side, sell side, and then price rallies back up a buy side, especially if the narrative is already bullish, like we've discussed on higher time frames. That's what I'd be looking at if I was to be forced to trade today. So a small little inefficiency in here on the 5 minute. Here's what I will do, just for the sake of the stream. I'm not gonna place a paper trade because people are gonna legitimately take this as a signal, and it's gonna piss me off. But just for the sake of it, I'm gonna do this, just so we can study it. It's a good study on a tape reading type of day. I don't know why this is not. So don't take this as a signal. I already know somebody's going to do it. It's the reason why I didn't want to do this, but somebody's going to do it. Whatever, it's your fault. I'm just doing this. And even if it works out, I'm not going to sit here and brag or boast. It's just me tape reading and getting a feel for this type of environment. That's all it is. Why would I be taking this trade? Like, let's just say overall. Well, we've dropped down. We've taken out sell side liquidity. From that dealing range low up to the high, we've dropped down into a discount, taking out sell stops. Remember we talked about last night is anytime you have a SIBI and you close above it, that's to me a change in state of delivery, right? You're changing its state from sell side, now we're delivering to buy side. I know that's not the actual definition. It has to do with order blocks, but it's the way I view it. So in here we've left a inefficiency. Some of these down close candles you can act as an order block. 5 minute inefficiency here. We could dig down into that and expand into the buy side. If the overall narrative is bullish, it should do that. Again, don't take the trade. Because on days like this, precision, your accuracy, the predictions are probably not going to be right. And I'm not going to sit here and go on social media after this and be like, I called out a trade. Like, that would be disingenuous. That would be stupid of me to do so, right? Like, even if it worked out, all I'm annotating is I just want to study. Like, for those who are in the tape reading session of whatever, of their career, this is what you need to be doing. And I wouldn't even have a risk to reward tool on. That's, I would just annotate that fair value gap and be like, all right, well, everything that I've kind of looked at today, I think we should look at higher prices. So I want to see, does price move inside of it and does it move away from it? And you put hypothetical stop losses and take profits. And if it goes in your favor and it works out, just screenshot it, put it in your journal, and then just journal that. Because if you start putting on even paper trading can, even though I know it's demo, it's not real money, some people can really bruise their ego. It can bruise their confidence, and they get upset that, let me do this. Because I know some people are so if you're just tuning in, yeah, for all those who've been here, you understand. What was that? Oh, as far as like paper trading, and you start even doing that, that can bruise somebody's ego. They can get mad that they're losing on paper trading. So that's why tape reading is very crucial, because you're not involving your emotions. You're not creating bad habits. It's why ICT states not to do that, because you don't want to dig yourself out of a hole. You don't want to undo all of these bad emotions and these things that you've created, because I've had to do that. It's a pain in the ass. Okay. But Powell is currently speaking. I mean, that dude says the same shit every time anyways. I'm glad I remembered to put that text box there. Bree, very good to hear. I know we discussed on, I think that was Sunday, you told me about that. Very good to hear. I hope you're seeing the pros of futures. And like I said, even if you want to go back to FX, brother, you can still trade the Euro contract. If you have like a futures count and you're like, man, you want to trade FX, just trade the euro contract, the pound contract. I'm sure there's plenty of people that are in this trade, so what can you do? You know, that is what it is. I'm not giving you financial advice. And all you're doing, like if you're by yourself, I'd put a recorder on and just record your thoughts. Speak out loud. And then go back after a session, watch the videos that you made in the session and be like, all right, what was I thinking? What did I say here? Because most of the time you're not going to pick up on that. Or if you're not really like observing your own thoughts and what you're thinking, it's hard to know what you're thinking, right? So speaking out loud to yourself is really important. I'm eating a banana today, so excuse me. Is my mic mute like that? Is that a loud noise? I don't want to be chewing a banana in the mic. I'm sure some of you have heard that. It's not a good sound. I know it's not about indexes, but gold is going to the moon. I'm sure it is. I'm sure commodities are all flying through the roof. If you think about just, I don't want to get into a tinfoil hat discussion, but if you just look at everything that's going on in the world, I mean, does it really make sense at all? Crypto's at all-time highs. Commodities are rising. Index futures are at all-time highs. But you look around you, are things really the best? No, not really. Like, none of this makes any sense. Like, when you start paying attention to the markets and you look around you in the world, you're like, none of this makes any sense at all. Currently, it doesn't. Yeah, if you guys can like the video, I'd appreciate it. Can you please increase your screen resolution? I think that's on your end, my man. Tom, I mean, as far as premium and discounts, like an efficiency, if it's inside of a premium or a discount, I used to think the same thing. I know what you're saying, but I don't need this inefficiency to be inside of a discount to take it for multiple reasons. If the higher time frame, the parent dealing range is already reached into a discount, this doesn't need to reach back into a discount again. If the parent has already reached into a discount, then the lower time frames don't need to reach into a discount. I'm anticipating the most recent fair value gap to be used, and if there was one underneath it, I'm anticipating that to be used as a breakaway gap. So I don't need, if I was to look at this dealing range, I don't need this to drop into this discount here, because this has already done it. And if you're saying it's inside of a premium, which yes it is, but most of the time if you're taking a trade, it's going to be it's always inside of another opposing dealing range. So it will be inside of an opposing discount or premium no matter what. But this is the parent, it's reached into that discount already, so. Fly Fisha, unfortunately, I mean, we could talk privately. I can't talk about it on this platform. Otherwise, I will get shadow banned. Um, are you going to start the new course soon? It's not a course. I cringe when I hear the word course because I don't believe in courses. But as far as mentorship, yeah, I'm not sure. Mate, just a technical question. If we see SMT in 1 hour before market opening bell, can that be sign of reversal? I mean, it can be, but it's a situational question. Like, there could be SMT and it could not reverse. Again, it's never, like, trading is not a set plan A, it does this, plan B, it does this. It's never like that. Every day is unique. Every day has different characteristics and things that surround it. So you have to adjust and you have to be, that's where the analysts come in. You come in as an analyst and you make the decisions, you make the deciphering factors. See, like, W signal, yeah, like I don't care. Like, this is, to me, I'm not gonna go on Twitter and post this after and be like, on the live stream I called this. Like, some jackass would do that, but I'm not gonna do that because I've told all of you I'm not trading this, and there's no reason to be excited about it. It's just simply me looking at price and seeing how it delivers. That's it. Like I said, I'm sure some people that are saying that I took this trade, so whatever. If you had another fresh FEG below your entry, would you rather wait for price to trade below? JP trading, that's a good question. I mean, again, it's just what I talked about with premium and discount. Most of the time, like, a price is delivering quickly. I have to gauge as the analyst. If price is in a hurry to get somewhere, especially like this with rapid delivery, if I have a fair value gap beneath it, in my head I'm anticipating that to be the breakaway gap. I'm anticipating that. Especially if I have a 5-minute here, this is where multiple time frame analysis comes into play. Is I'm looking at this one as well. Well, if the 5-minute is hovering a little, like if the open of the fair value gap is hovering above that lower one, then probably, yeah, I'm anticipating that to be stayed open because on the 5-minute, it's probably just going to IOFED it and move higher. So if you want to, that's what ICT advises. If you needed to, you could put your stop loss beneath the second one. But in my head, I'm always anticipating the first one to be reached into and traded. Oh my goodness, W's in the chat. Holy shit, bro, we're so good. Again, I'm only emphasizing that because I don't care. Like, even though it's worked out, I could have taken the trade today. That doesn't mean anything to me. You guys are actually typing W's in the chat. That's hilarious. I only say that with it sarcastically. Ricks. Some of you funny. I don't even know if some people are. So if you feel any type of way about that, I mean, it doesn't look like that through the chat. I'm just saying it in general. If you feel any type of way that, and it's like, this is where, I know my old self would be like, well, ICT, this stupid guy, he's telling me not to trade on Thursday. Look at this. Look at this. You're so stupid. Why would you tell me not to trade this? This is a perfect entry. But then there's going to be days like, let's say the next NFP comes around and it's not this clean. It doesn't move this well and you get stopped out. Well, that's part of following rules. Again, you can't pick and choose when it works and when it doesn't, and when to be in the best time. It doesn't work that way. So sometimes you just have to elect to, not do it. It is what it is. There's a lot of questions, so if you have a question, I'd probably just wait for the chat to slow down. Black Bear, I saw your question. I don't understand it. Last year, this time, Powell had a speech. He dropped market like 200 handles. Now it's not like he's even talking. I stayed out yesterday and it was so clean. Why is that? Again, I don't know. I don't know why. Like, as far as fundamentals, like even ICT says this. I have no idea what they do. I've never cared to understand what they do because regardless, the market, the algorithm is going to do whatever it's going to do. So I've never paid attention to it. I've never cared about it. As far as yesterday, I have no idea what the hell Powell was speaking about. I have no idea what he's talking about right now. None of it really matters. Like, the algorithm's still going to do what it's programmed to do. If you believe in it, then like you can see here, it's going to do it regardless. Whatever the hell Powell says. I mean, there's manual intervention when times like, something major catastrophic comes out, the market will just drop or go higher out of nowhere. But as far as like what you're talking about, I couldn't give you an answer to it because I don't know. Why did we trade yesterday? There was NFP. There wasn't NFP yesterday. Powell was speaking. That was it. NFP's tomorrow. Muhammad, love to hear that. Amazing. Justin, yeah. Well, Tom, I think you're placing a lot of. This is the issue, and I've trust me, I've been there. Stop doing the challenges. Immediately stop doing them. Put whatever, if you have funds available. If you don't, then don't even put funds into a live account. I promise you, if you put money into a live account, and whether it's $1,000 and you just actually trade it with the intention of just practicing your strategy, practicing your discipline, practicing the things that you've been taught, rather than trying to pass a challenge. Like, those things are made to psychologically torment you. For a lot of you, you're in this loop of constantly going through these challenges, failing and resetting it, failing and resetting it, failing and resetting it. Let me just get funded. Once I get funded, then I'll be profitable. Once I get funded, I'll be profitable. No, you won't. Once you get funded, you'll probably blow the thing anyways. You don't have the skill set yet. You don't. Obviously, you don't. You clearly are getting feedback that you don't have the skill set, but yet you keep going in like a gambler, like you're going to the casino every damn time and just keep resetting that thing. Like, well, once I get funded, then I'll be profitable. Do you see how backwards that logic is? And trust me, I was thinking the exact same way, and I had to reel it back. I'd be like, dude, I can't pass these challenges, so obviously I got to do something different. Most of you would be far off better putting your money into a live account and just slowly building that than doing these challenges and being in the circus and the loop of keep resetting it. Let me just get funded. I mean, you'll probably end up spending more money than you probably could have put into a live account anyways. And as far as you've been studying about ICT for a year for every day, I mean, the harsh person in me wants to say boohoo. Like, congrats. Yeah, I did it for 4 years and, I wasn't getting anywhere with it for a long time. So you got to work your ass off for a long time. Like, there's always somebody who's been studying a lot longer than you who's, like, that's nothing. That's literally nothing. Like, people think that after a year of studying these concepts, or even 2 years, that you should be profitable and that they're owed something. You're not. You're not owed shit. Like, it took me 6 years to get to this point. About 5 years with ICT, and I mean, I didn't even reach profitability for like 4 years with him. So, and I was part of his mentorship. I was part of it all. yeah, Tom, I mean, overall, I mean, it's not a bad idea, but in general, it just mean you just need more time. That's all it really is. It's people look too in depth into it, and trust me, when I say all these things, I've been through the worst. I'm not an exception to the rule. I've suffered more than any of you have suffered. I've lost more than any of you have lost. So when I talk about this, I'm not trying to be harsh or mean. I'm just trying to tell you that yes, you can make it through. I've been through the same doubts, the same struggles, the same fears. I've lost for years on end. I've blown challenge after challenge after challenge after challenge, blown through so much money, but I just kept going. You just have to keep persisting. There's no golden answer I can give to any of you. The only thing I can say is just keep going, keep persisting, keep working on yourself, keep working through all of this. Eventually it will click. It's not going to just magically one day you wake up and boom, I'm consistently profitable. No, but it's through all the building blocks throughout all the time you spent, it's going to eventually accelerate. It doesn't feel like that. Trust me, I get it. You could be working your ass off, you could do all this work, and then you feel further back than when you even started. But a good measuring stick is to measure where you started and then where you're at now in terms of your learning. Like that is some improvement. But even if it's not capital, even if it's not monetary, it's not money, you may be further back in money than where you started. But think about your learning curve. Think about the first day you found trading compared to where it is now. It's much, much further. Am I wrong? No. So that's your measuring stick. A lot of you are measuring your success based on money, and you're trying to measure your success based off of your achievements, but you need to measure it based off of your learning curve. How far have you improved since the day you started? That's going to what's going to keep you encouraged. Because if you measure your success based off of your achievements in every single trade, whether it's a win or lose or every single past challenge account, you're of course you're going to feel defeated. You're not measuring it correctly. There's a lot in the chat, so I can't really say. Yeah, I mean, even looking at families and friends, like, dude, I've done this for so long and I've never really told anybody about what I'm doing. Like, you have to keep a lot of this stuff personal. If you start telling everybody about it, I mean, I'm blessed to have a lot of friends, close friends that do this, but I mean, in general, I just keep it private because throughout all the failures and things like that, people are going to ask you, how you doing on the day trading stuff, man? How's that working out for you? And you may be 4 years in the hole and you may be like, damn, man, like, yeah, it's going well. But like the thing with trading that's a blessing is like 1 year could completely change your life. You could make more money than, you can make all that money back. And I hate saying that because it does influence people to, try to gamble and do all that. But it is a reality. If you're able to stack capital, especially from funding companies, I mean, dude, you'll make up for all that lost time anyways. Like, I look at this as the best risk to reward. If I'm able to invest even 6 to 8 years at minimum, and for the rest of my life, I'm able to be set free. I mean, I look at it as a doctorate degree, like, or bachelor's, whatever you want to call it. Nico, yeah. I mean, even if you try to explain people what you do, they don't understand it. I hate saying a normie, like somebody that just doesn't understand this, that doesn't even believe in themselves to want to pursue something of this significance. A, they're gonna try to shit on you because of their own insecurities and their own faults, and B, they just don't understand it. Like if you try to talk to a normal person about trading, they just don't get it, and that's okay. Some people are not meant for that lifestyle, and it's fine. But I've always been somebody that wanted to do something on my own. I can't work the rest of my life at 9 to 5. I would rather live in a forest and be broke. Like that's just the truth. Anyways, I mean, as far as price, I mean, we've already given a signal, quote unquote. So whatever. As far as tape reading, this is a mitigation block, not a breaker. This is a mitigation block. There's a difference. ICT pointed this out yesterday. If you're just tuning in, please like the video. We're only at 300 likes. There's 700 of you in here. So if you can boost that to I don't know, 500. That's the days where I'm not really trading. I'm doing more or less psychology, mindset, rants. CJ, how do you answer the question when some noisy friends, colleagues ask about how did you get this money? I've been trying to keep it private, but circle. I mean, that's a good question. I mean, that's at that point in time. I mean, you could tell them about trading. Like if you're talking about if you made a lot of money through trading, I mean, it's fine to tell them about it. If they want to learn from you and you don't want to teach, that's really, you want to remain private about it. I mean, and just recommend somebody else for them to teach or learn from. Nico, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Do you ever heard about? I hate when people. Oh, so you trade Bitcoin? Oh, dude, that is the worst. I don't even tell. I don't tell people I'm a trader. If somebody asks me, this is a good phrase to use if you're wondering, because I used to say like I'm a forex trader and stuff back then. Just say you're an analyst. It's the best way to, in my opinion. Mantis. So how do you answer the? Oh, yeah, I already answered that. Can you confirm a 5-minute breaker? Yeah, that is a 5-minute breaker. What do you have? You have a low, a high, a lower low, then a higher high. So your last up close candle, that would be the bullish breaker. And I'm not confirming to you to whether to utilize that to go longer or short. Let me put on more music. More music, what? If you look at ES, ES is going higher. So what would NQ be? NQ would be the sixth sister, right? So NQ would want to follow suit of ES. Exactly, Tom. That's the best thing you could do. I told my Asian parents about this. It was horrible. Yeah, I'm sure it was. Chat, you want to answer Mr. Romaine? Already gave a signal, bro. That's not a breaker, that's a mitigation block. And if weak protocols, you do not trade Thursday and Friday of it. Again, some people are going to sit here and bitch and moan that, well, I should have been in that signal you gave. I mean, dude, it's part of discipline and rules. You can't just trade the rules when they work and not trade them when they don't work. It's just you have to maintain consistency with it. I mean, that's not my entry pattern. I wouldn't be trading this. I wouldn't be trading that breaker in here. Even if I had to trade today, I wouldn't be trading that. Can I share my chart settings? Sure. I mean, that's what it looks like. It's good that at least we're maintaining viewers today. I would like to believe, I thought most people would probably leave because there's no signals, but at least most of you actually want to learn this. In my head, I believe, like, I don't know this, it may be wrong of me to say this, but I believe like 90% of the chat is here for signals. That's the way I view it, to be honest with you, but I could be wrong. I hope that 90% of you are here to learn and do this for yourself. Bill, I know it's just a paper trade, but why would you not cover the FEG below the one you marked out? I'm not sure what you mean by cover. Yeah, exactly, Tom. That's reaching maturity. It took me a long time to learn that. Is like, and I just discussed this with somebody else as well. Is like, you reach a point where it's like, dude, why would you not, like, that's the whole point of why you get into trading, is to break free and have freedom. Like, if somebody told you you could make more money than anybody else's day job, and all you had to do is work for 1 hour a day, and you only had to do that maybe 2 to 3 times a week, I mean, why would you not take them up on that offer? Why would you force yourself to trade for 10 hours a day and look at the charts and be chained to them? It's the opposite of what you're literally just putting yourself back into a 9 to 5 mindset. That's not why we're here. That's not optimal either. So you're not going to be profitable doing that. Like, people believe the whole ironic situation with trading is the more you do, the less you make. It's in everything else in life. Most of the time, the more you do, the more you make. But in trading, it's very contrarian. The less you do, the more you make. And it's a very hard thing to do, especially for hyper competitive people like myself. Is like, I always wanted to do more. I want to do more. I want to do more. But it doesn't work. It does not work. The more times I put my account into the market, the more times is at risk. The more times I put myself into the market, the more times I'm at risk to start tilting, to start having fear, to start spending my mental capital tokens. I mean, that's the whole contrarian thing to trading. It's backwards to basically everything else in life. It's a hard thing to get used to because it's just backwards. Like in the gym, if you work out hard, you could do workouts 7 times a week. You're probably going to get jacked. But if I traded 7 times, in a day, 7 times a week, I'm probably not going to be profitable. It doesn't work. Stock magician, yeah, it is enough. Again, even if you're on a lower sized account, this is why people chase so many trade ideas, is because I'm operating in the mindset of I'm going to be managing $1 million to $2 million here probably shortly, and I'm in the mindset of if I can only do what we did yesterday, 1 trade a week, that's more than anybody else's probably salary, and I have to do 1 time a week. I mean, what if you can't practice that just because you have like $1,000 account? I mean, because you only made $100 that week, you're building the discipline, you're building the skill set to be able to do that on a higher sized account. I never look at it as that. Like, I've never have. Yeah, Tom, that's I think people that have only, and a lot of the newer students, man, they're like my age or a little bit younger, so they've never worked like a real 9 to 5 job, and they probably have never really understood what it means to work in that type of industry and understanding how terrible it is. So you're only going to get that experience through working those type of jobs and understanding that, yeah, less is so much more. CJ, how much do you target percentage for the week? I mean, it just depends. Like this week, I'm only able to do a certain percentage. Mainly, I'm aiming for 50 to, if I can maximize it, 50 to 100 handles a week would be amazing. If I can only get 50 handles for the week, if that's the only thing that's providing me, then that's it. Because you can't just set a goal and then force yourself in that little, like, that game that, there's square holes, there's rectangles, there's octagons. You can't just plug yourself into that. You're like, if I have a goal for 100 handles a week and I got 50, but the market's not providing it, I can't just force myself to get another 50. I can't control the market. So every week when somebody asks me, what do I shoot for? I have an ideal, 50 handles I shoot for, but if I achieve more than that, that's great. If I achieve a little bit less than that, that's fine too. Because I can't always force the market to give me what I want. You just have a goalpost, you try to shoot for it. If you get above it, that's great. Get beneath it, still fine. I have a certain percentage of how much I lose, I can tell you that. I mean, you need to have, because that's the thing you can control. The only thing you can control is your frequency and your risk. Those are the only 2 variables you can control. Let me say this. Overall, if I was a newer student, I'd be aiming, let's say on a $100,000 account, I'd be aiming for 4 to 6% a month, which is 1.5 to 2% a week. I think that's very achievable. Even for a new student, if even you can dumb this down even more, you could do 2% a month. That's 0.5% each week. Most of you believe that you can do 10%, 20% in a month. I mean, it's unrealistic to even expect of yourself. If you can do 2% consistently a month for 6 months, then bump it up to 4%. If you can do that for 6 months, bump it up to 6%. You need to be able to baby step it. You can't just jump and set a goalpost for yourself. That's unrealistic. what would you do for a 2K live account? I mean, I'd probably just be shooting for whatever 4%, 5% of a 2K live account is. I mean, 4 to 6% is very achievable. It's not very difficult. It's very easy to maintain. And when you're starting out on those lower accounts, all you're doing is building that consistency. So if you step into a larger account, you know exactly what you're doing. Just to kind of recap where we're at and where price is at. Now, if you go back to the very beginning of the video, I anticipated all these levels to be traded to. So it's not like this is blindsiding me. And I don't really care. I'm not in the business of regretting. But this premium SIBI here on the 1 hour, that's what we're trading up into. What do we talk about from the very beginning of the video, live stream, if you're here? What's the order flow? What's the narrative on higher time frame? It's bullish. So we want to look and anticipate higher prices today. So you draw the line in the sand when you come into the session. You say, all right, well, if today's bullish, I'm looking for higher prices on higher time frame, then I'm only anticipating longs today. I'm not going to be shorting. I'm not going to be flipping my analysis. It's just I'm long. Yeah, and we also have the current new week opening gap above it. So those are two areas that we could look for price to trade up into. Both of these on my left chart, those are both 15-minute SIBIs. So good question, Oki. At least 20%. Depends. You can write off as a 1099 or an independent contractor. You can write off certain business expenses. So it depends how much you put away for expenses and what you wrote off for that year. Again, just as far as tape reading, I mean, some people are going to be upset and questioning why I didn't trade today, but we've already gone over that. I gave for the signal people that are here just for signals. I already gave them one, so their addiction is sufficed, I guess. So after we got above the buy side from this inefficiency here, we drop down back into this mitigation block. Drop down into it, use it a couple times, deliver higher, down close candle, bullish order block, mean threshold here, displacing higher into what? The draw on liquidity. So why are we looking for higher prices? That's the first step. You need to look at where you're going. Where is the GPS? Where is the roadmap telling me to go? Well, it's telling me to look for higher prices. So everything else, you just plug and play. Like whatever your multiplier is, if it's a fair value gap, you enter on the fair value gap. Mitigation block, you use the mitigation. If it's an order block, you use the order block. How did I come to the conclusion is because I've had too many losses within the first 30-minute opening range. So throughout all my journaling, throughout data, I looked at it and I said, well, I'm taking a lot of losses throughout the first 30-minute window. Obviously, I'm not finding success with this, so I just wait for the silver bullet. And if it's being taught directly through ICT's mouth, it's like, what's the first element of these concepts? It's time. So you select the best time to trade in, which is a 1 hour window. I mean, to me, it's like, again, we go back to the same thing we were talking about. It's like, dude, if somebody told you had to work for 1 hour a day each week and you're able to make more money than most people, does that not sound like a dream job to you? Benz, I mean, yeah, it's fine. Would you have taken the trade? Yeah. If this was yesterday, I would have taken the trade. Again, I operate within my rules. I don't just, some days I follow it, some days I don't. It's again, if you do that, you're not finding consistency. Bill, yeah, no, I wipe all my charts every day. I used to not to. If you go back to even last year, I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, educating, like even daily logs. If we go back to last year, man, I used to have some crazy annotations, and I started to stop doing that just because it was a lot of work. What's your draw on liquidity? I have it above you. Do I really? Whatever. So even throughout tape reading and throughout the whole session, you're able to see concepts still work, everything's still there. Again, some people may look at this and be like, well, why the hell is this a rule by ICT? Because on some NFP weeks, it doesn't pan out like this. It's not this clean. So you can't just pick and choose your rule sets. I mean, when they work and when they don't work. I know I constantly keep saying that, but I know the thoughts that are running through a lot of people's heads when they see this price action and they see the rule sets and they get pissed off at whether it's me or whether it's ICT. Again, you can't pick and choose your rule sets. You can't pick and choose when they work and when they don't work. JJ Trader, I mean, I have a lot of rules. I have a lot of different sets of things that I follow. It's not one particular thing or these particular things. Each week's different. Depends on the layout for the week. I mean, there's so much to it. Yeah, Bree, I talk about S&T all the time. The reason you don't see it is because I have a monitor next to me that's vertically, like, I have this on my monitor next to me. I'm constantly looking at it. I mention it all the time, too. Facile, it just depends. I mean, it's your style. I personally just wipe it all clean nowadays. I used to not. Do you ever experience heavy mental drawdown because of trading? Yeah. That's called accumulated emotions. If you take in multiple losses and you're in drawdown, your mental capital is probably in drawdown as well. The only way to pull yourself out of that is to reduce your leverage and your risk and your frequency and slowly build up those wins, because most of the time when you're in drawdown, your confidence is going with it. Like you start doubting yourself, you start doubting your model, the concepts, you start having fear more. I mean, I've experienced it all. It happens. But the main thing you have to do is just keep sticking with the model. I mean, if there's something that you're doing wrong, you have to weed that out. But if you're not doing anything wrong, it may just be the market, maybe the conditions that you're in. And Bill, is NFP the only news you don't trade the day before? I'm weary of FOMC. I'm weary of CPI the days before that as well. Again, if I'm already up on the week, if you've just new here, I mean, yesterday we caught a beautiful trade. I'm up on the week. So if my rule set's telling me not to trade this day and I'm already up on the week, why would I go back into the market and risk? I'm not a greedy person at all. I've never struggled with greed. I can't even relate to it, to be honest with you. I really can't. I've always been a person of I'm content. Like as soon as I get my trade for the week, I'm very content with it. I'm never a person that's like once I win, it's like let me go back for more. I've never experienced that. And most of the time with greed, that's just not being content with enough. That or you're overly competitive, you're overly confident. Nico, did he speak medium? All right, brother. Have a good day. Question. Let's say you want to go long. Do you take the one that swept liquidity or the one that create the higher high? Um, that's pretty. I know you're probably a newer student. It's a vague question. I mean, as far as you're probably looking at a 2022 model. I mean, I'm looking for the shift to market structure. I'm looking for energetic displacement after liquidity has been taken. Fly Fisher, I mean, yeah, like Forex was different. Like Forex had a kill zone that it was from 7:30 to basically 10 o'clock. So I was trading in Forex there was an open window for about 2.5 hours, 3 hours. So when I was trading Forex, yeah, I mean, I wasn't trading Silver Bullet. It's a wider window with Forex. It starts a little bit earlier. But when I got into futures, I was trying to trade the open. I couldn't find consistency with it, so then I went to the Silver Bullet. I found consistency with that. I've tried to trade the PM session. I do from time to time, but I've kind of eliminated that from my trading because I don't see the reason I'm putting myself into more risk. And overall, I value my time and my life more than just being on these charts. Like, I understand that the Silver Bullet AM session, 5 days a week, it provides enough for me. I know that. And if it doesn't deliver and the PM session is amazing every single day, I mean, so what? That's only like 1 week out of the month that may even happen. Is the 2022 mentorship still relevant in 2024? Yes. Do you trade IFEG? Yep. Look at yesterday's video. I use it as a confluence with a fair value gap. I'm not solely trading inversion fair value gaps. Okay, yeah, I would probably say the same. I mean, the only best delivery was the signal that I gave. Signal. Besides that, it's been pretty choppy delivery. Even though it's just grinding higher, it's pretty choppy delivery. Is 2022 same as Silver Bullet? No. I mean, Silver Bullet, there is a video over at ICT's YouTube channel that describes what it is, but all in general, to me, it's just a 1 hour window that is favorable to trade in. And I plug in my own model, my own things that I use inside of that window of time. Do I trade CPI, PPI days? Yeah. I just don't trade before CPI. A lot of this stuff, I mean, it sucks to say because there's a lot of these are newer questions. A lot of these I can tell, and it's not a bad thing. I'm grateful that you guys are here. But a lot of the stuff that I'm saying is not going to hit home with all of you. I mean, it's probably going over a lot of people's heads if you're newer. So it's one of those things is as you advance and as you graduate throughout these concepts, you probably have to go back to these live streams. Like, I would say if you're intermediate / advanced and you came to me, like, you're really going to excel. Like, you're going to find acceleration with my teachings and what I talk about. But if you're newer, like fresh, brand new, I mean, it's going to be difficult for you. A lot of things are not going to resonate. A lot of things are probably going over your head. So you may just have to go back at a later point and watch all of these. Do you like trading Mondays? Depends, situational. I think somebody asked about journaling. Yeah, Discord, Telegram. I mean, there's a lot of different free journaling, Notion. All you're doing, people overcomplicate journaling. You're literally just journaling what you did that day, what happened in price, what you predicted, and you're not bashing yourself. The biggest thing I can say is you're cheerleading yourself. You're being very nice and encouraging to yourself even throughout the worst days that you've had. Breaker on 15-minute. I don't see one. Like if you're talking about on the bullish side, no. Thank you, Bago. That is honestly, dude. The last I think 4 Fridays in a row I've won. So typically I don't love Fridays, but I mean it depends. I mean if I see something on a Friday and it's worth the risk, it's worth what I think is putting the trade on, then I'll take it. Same with Mondays. I just know that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are the most favorable for me. And typically they're going to be the most favorable for you. Because what's happening is you're looking at the weekly template going, all right, well, the low of the week or the high of the week is being set or it already has been set. Like when you come into yesterday, even today, you know that Tuesday, if you're looking at a bullish profile, Tuesday set the low of the week. So I'm not expecting any more manipulation to the other side. I'm just expecting straight runs or a little bit lower time frame sell side raids, and just basically a straight run to any drawn liquidity. Insight, I'll have my moderator put that down. Thank you, Justin. So we've delivered into that premium SIBI that I mentioned in here before. Let's go over like 15-minute, or I'm sorry, the daily time frame. Well, hopefully that made sense. If you were here from the very beginning of the stream, this is what narrative is. This is working within narrative and understanding higher time frame. I don't know why people don't talk about it. It confuses me. Like, it's very easy to understand. And if you're able to understand the higher time frame where this is going, you just go into lower time frames, and you can wait for a sell side sweep like this, wait for the run higher, find your multiplier, and enter into the market. We're going to learn about weekly profiles, ICT's core content. Raheen, I mean, FOMO is still, it never, like, this is the illusion that people think that, like, yes, all you do is you just get better. That's all it is. The emotions are still there. Tilt is still there for me. I still experience these emotions, but you get better at managing them and not letting it come out of you. Like, it's not like one day you wake up and poof, all of it's gone away and you're just trading in bliss and rainbows and colors and sunshines. That's not the reality of it. You're never going to be able to escape it. You're a human. As long as you're breathing, you're going to have emotions. So you just get better at managing it because you have more experience behind you. Like, as far as fear of missing out, or as far as being mad that you missed a move, I mean, I've had 6 years of experience of understanding that these things repeat, and that if I miss a move, I mean, I've done it so many times, my mind is callous to it. What do I mean by multiplier? Multiplier is your entry pattern. So whether that's a fair value gap, whether that's an order block, whether that's a mitigation block, whether that's a breaker, you pick one multiplier to enter off of. You don't trade every single multiplier. You pick one and you stick with it. You never deviate. You don't, some days I'll trade the breaker. Some days I'll trade the fair, but no, you do not do that. But CJ, it's moving off of the breaker today. I don't care. That's part of rules and discipline. Sorry, it's a reality check for most of you. You can't just do that. You're not good enough to do that. I'm not even at that point where I could trade every single PD array. Do I know what they all are? Yes. I understand how to utilize them, but I'm not going to trade them. Have a video on reading how... No, I don't, because... and this is not particularly directed at you, because I can't explain it in one video. It's not going to give you enough information. But if you sit down, look at the beginning of almost every single live stream that I do. Look at yesterday's, look at the day before, look at today, and look at the first 15 minutes of my live streams. I give you exactly how to read higher time frames every single time. I can't put it in one video. Every day is unique. So you have to sit through through a long period of time to understand what they're doing. It's what ICT did for all of us. It's the reason why his mentorship's a year long, because you have to see it through. It's not just like, well, here's one video and you learn his concepts. You can't watch one video and learn daily bias. People make those videos because it gets views and they can sell their shitty mentorships to you. Him Jones, I mean, that's all right, man. I mean, at least as long as you're seeing the concepts work, as long as you see that these things work, I mean, you should never fear it. Never fear that they go away. With your experience, do these meetings have the much impact over the market? I mean, to me, whenever Powell speaks, I mean, it can, but in reality, I mean, we talked about this earlier, is like Powell, whenever he speaks, it's usually the same shit. So, I mean, Curtis, thank you. I finished 2022 mentorship. Is there any other? Yeah, I mean, just go through ICT's entire playlist. I think people after they finish that, it's a common question I get. They don't know where else to go. I mean, he has a video describing where you should go. I mean, to be honest, I'd watch all of his live streams from last year. Like, if you watched his live streams from last year, like, you'll probably progress really quickly after the 2022. Because that's not the only model that exists, nor does it repeat. Sometimes it doesn't even repeat in the week. And some people think that it has to, like, each model, when you look at a model, some people think that it needs to look picture perfect. It needs to look exactly like that, or it's not correct. That's not true. Each model is going to appear uniquely. Like, this is the 2022 model, but it's unique because it's not reaching down into what you would call a discount. There's no clear market structure shift. But if you look at certain factors, like when you're getting above these down close candles, that's a real change in state of delivery. B, you're getting above an old SIBI, which is telling you you're going from selling to buying. You're not reaching down into a discount because you don't need to due to the higher time frame. There's certain unique characteristics around every single model. They're not going to look picture perfect, but they do have the same, for the most part, characteristics around them. Alex, that's a good question. I mean, that's just fear of losing, fear of being wrong. The only way to get over that is to really reduce your risk. I mean, or even just start paper trading and just execute on it. Really, that just has to do with the fear of being wrong. And you probably, and this is even me, like you have a fear of, you want to be right all the time. You want to be perfectionist, and it's going to hurt your ego if you take a trade and you lose. So you just have to get over that. You just have to press the button and jump. Like if your model's there, like if you don't want to blame yourself, blame your model. And I mean, obviously just keep working with it, but most people, they have an issue with themselves and they don't want to blame, they're scared of the repercussions that if you're super hyper self-critical, like if you take a loss, you're before you take the loss or before you take the trade, you're scared of the criticism you're going to give yourself. Because if you're super self-critical, like myself, like you're going to be very harsh on yourself. So you may be fearful of that. Like there's a lot of levels to it. Alright, well, we reached the end of the silver bullet. I've yapped for a long period of time here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today. Hopefully it was insightful. Hopefully you learned something. I know there was no signals per se. I mean, obviously I gave one trade idea and it worked out. And that's all you need to do, even if, like for me, I didn't take the trade, but you can look at it and go, alright, well, this panned out today. This is what happened. And that's really all it is. If you have any last minute questions, something that really is on your mind that really needs answering. Otherwise, I'm going to get off. Yeah, appreciate everybody here. I know a lot of you not here for the signal, so I appreciate it. Yeah. Alright. I see as many models. Which one is the best one to start? 2022 playlist. It's the best model to start with. Where's my? I gave you a signal, Justin. Alright, that's it. Till tomorrow. Peace out, guys.